Ryan from blazingwanderers.com, and what you're looking at right now is lipstick. This is lipstick on the wall panel, and what we're using it for is to mark the location in which we're going to drill a hole for our plus nuts. Basically install the plus nuts, put in a bolt, and on the head of the bolt then put some lipstick on, so when we press the panel to the ceiling we know exactly where to drill. That's one thing that we did. And then for the what you're looking at right now is an outline of the trim ring for the MaxxAir fan, and down below this is the other portion, and then here's the Nomadic AC. So basically was able to measure over, or in the case of here, since it split the panel, get a really good idea of where the trim ring needs to be located, and knowing the inside and the outside dimensions helps to make sure that you're not going too far over. So for example, it starts to get a little bit skinny in terms of the opening versus the screw hole. So it's good to have both the outside and the inside so you don't accidentally cut the outside. All right, so I've used a jigsaw to cut out the space for the AC, and then also the space for the MaxxAir fan. And you can see the other side over here. And then I've also marked off and cut the holes for the plus nuts. And we are almost ready to put in our ceiling. We've dry fit all the panels, we've put vinyl on our ceiling, and we've fabriced the upper half of the panels, but today is going to be the ceiling. But what I'm going to show you is we're going to be putting in these lights. And so these are from Far Out Ride. Highly recommend them. We're going to have two zones front, 5 lights, 4 to the side, 1 in the aisle, and then we'll have 4 here. And basically all of this wiring is in parallel. So the lights, as you can see, are not in series. They're in parallel with one another. I made these wiring harnesses, so pigtails, so you can disconnect using these blade terminals. So you can disconnect the lights if you ever need to replace a light or pull down the ceiling. Up and over, this is where I branched off for the parallel connection for the next light over. And then up here, I've just zip tied this and then put in some conduit. I've used a little bit of sound deadening material here where this goes underneath the structural steel to make a nice smooth edge, plus the conduit. And then I've got everything, connected here for each of the circuits. The wiring for the front goes down through here, down this pillar, down, and then the wiring for the back I've got coming out here. Again, I've got that same sound deadening material wherever I've got an edge, and then down. And I'm going to have a fuse box located underneath. I've got a cabinet down here for the fuse box on this side. And we are almost at the end of a very long process to do our ceiling. So these are the panels upside down. You can see where we've wrapped the vinyl on the back side. And then you can see where we've cut our holes for the lighting. And then the thing I want to point out is if you want to have everything in line, it's best to mark it on the back. These are 1 inch from the inside edge, and then 11, 29, and 11, so that we're all nice and equal on all of our screws, and we'll carry that line all the way back in the other panels. Hopefully everything fits. All right, so our last 2 panels for the roof, we ran our furring strips back 20 inches. This is 18 inches back on the last board, so I can't put any screws into the back edge. You can see how we're lining everything up. 1 inch off the edges, 11, 29, and 11. So ceiling is in, and I gotta say that I am super happy. I'm gonna step up here. Still need to pop in the lights, but we have a very consistent 1/2 inch tolerance going down on both sides, all the way down for the wall panels. Those will fit up in there very nicely, I think. And then I think the screws turned out really well. I'm gonna put in the lights next. I am so excited because we have our roof installed and finished. We used a white vinyl, and then over here on the edges we have structural steel that we used a 1/2 inch spacer to get a very consistent gap between the ceiling panel, the structural steel, and then where our wall panel will be going. We're using the lighting from Far Out Ride. This is the Nomadic AC that's installed. Next up we have the MaxxAir fan. And then toward the front, you can see how we've done the foam blobs, how the ceiling matches up to the headliner. AVC Rick has a really nice tutorial with how to do these foam blobs. And then we'll have our wall system that comes and matches here. So a lot of work, but I think it turned out really well.